many years there has been...
The governor insists that the call to an open National Assembly is not a personal one.
In the eastern sector.
Governor El-Rufai may have disclosed his salary and state security budget, but not the spendings of the security votes from the federal government. On the local government funds, the governor referred the lawmakers to the online portal www.openkaduna.com.ng for relevant information. In all of these, the Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, CACOL, is challenging other governors, legislators, and public office holders to disclose their salaries and allowances, as Governor Nasir El-Rufai, the Kaduna State Governor, has done.
We want leaders to be open. We want them to be open, so has to be accountable to the people. And that was the reason for the press release. El-Rufai, the reason why El-Rufai's move was applauded was because it's a bold step, it's a bold move, and it's like a beginning of the end where we are looking at. A situation where the leaders will be accountable to the people, where people can monitor and measure up the accountability of those that lead them. And that was the reason why we issued that press release. However, based on the issue of trust, CACOL is just a civil society organization. We cannot say that that is lying, neither can we say that is telling the truth, because we do not have the access. We do not have access to what exactly these governors and legislators earn. However, for the fact that he took that step, I think he's like the first governor who has done that. And that's why we had to commend him. Not that we are telling him that he has done enough. We will still push for them to open up. There should be transparency in governance. And that is our stand at the center. And that's why we have been calling for the government, the constitutional amendment that takes away immunity. When there is no immunity for them, immediately they can be investigated.
We are caught by our rules.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has criticized Governor El-Rufai for not declaring his security votes, but Kaduna State security budget. The lawmakers dared him to publish his personal security votes.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it.
In a statement, Governor El-Rufai said he does not have security votes aside the security budget of the state he earlier published, which represents the only security vote for the entire government and not for his personal benefit. Mr. Jide Ogusowo, a data analyst, x-rays the transparency and integrity of the disclosures from Governor El-Rufai and the Speaker of the House of Reps, Yakubu Dogara.
The disclosures and the transparencies can be summed up with one word: being smart. So let's look at what has been said by the governor, that his salary is approximately 300,000 naira. But that's not the full picture, because the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission gives us more information as to what the salary of a governor is. They also tell us that there's a severance gratuity of 6 million naira. Now that, in simple terms, can be called thanks for serving the people. You still get 6 million naira for doing that. There's so many allowances, so much allowances that is at the discretion of the state government. That will not be captured in the pay slip of the governor. So what we've seen right now is the accurate information as established by the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. But what we have seen is also not the entire picture. Let me give you a summary of what it takes to be a governor. So the regulation states that to be a governor, you should not spend more than 200 million naira during your campaign. 200 million naira. Even though we have a lot of information that suggests governorship candidates spend over 200 million naira. But that doesn't bother us for now. What we also have is that the maximum salary of a governor for the 4-year period is only 31 million naira. So let's add all of this together. Who will invest 200 million naira to make only 31 million naira in 4 years? Now, there are only 3 types of people that will do that. The first is someone who doesn't understand arithmetic. The second person that will invest 200 million naira to only get 31 million naira must be a big thief. The third person that will invest 200 million naira to get only 31 million naira salary after 4 years must be an angel. So today, all governors fall within these 3 categories. But the challenge doesn't even stop at the governors alone. Let's look at what the members of the Senate and House of Reps earn. In 2007, their salaries were fixed by the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. So the salaries they earn today was fixed in 2007. That is a decade ago. Now, 3 years after 2007, that's 2010, the National Bureau of Statistics released what several analysts call the most important document in Nigeria's over 5 decades history. What was this information? This information was about the salaries that are earned by people that work in the private sector. So as of 2010, the NBS said those that work in the wholesale and retail sector, which we call trade, earn an average salary of 20,000 naira. Now, this information is available in the public. 20,000 naira. A member of House of Reps earns a monthly salary based on the evidence we have today of 794,000 naira. In simple terms, you will be more profitable trying to become a member in the House of Reps than to sit down and try and be involved in wholesale and retail trade. And so what has happened since 2010, when that information came out, is that we've seen a lot of people becoming more interested in politics, not because they're angels, but because they earn higher reward by going into politics. And so a lot of talent moves away from wholesale and retail into politics. And the reason why that is dangerous for the economy is, for instance, we know that among all the 46 economic sectors, what sector is the largest in the country? It is trade. Today, the NBS also says trade, being the largest sector, accounts for over 20 trillion naira, over 100 trillion naira GDP. Now, that is a sector where the average salary is only 20,000 naira.
Mr. Gusowo insists that the National Assembly has for many years withheld information about monies allocated to it, which is shrouded in a single-line budget of 115 billion naira.
Let's look at where the National Assembly gets its money from. It's under a header called statutory transfers. Now, there are 7 agencies in the country that get that statutory allocation, and that's the National Human Rights Commission. We've got the Niger Delta Commission in that list. We've also got the Public Complaints Commission. We've got the Universal Basic Education Commission, which is the 4th. The 5th is we've got INEC. The 6th is we've got the National Judicial Council, and we've got the National Assembly making the 7th. Those are the 7 bodies that get statutory allocations. The total statutory allocations in the 2016 Act is 351 billion naira. The National Assembly gets the highest, much more than the 77 billion of the National Judicial Council, or even for the Universal Basic Education Commission. There is more than a compelling reason for us to get to know the breakdown of the National Assembly's budget. Yes, they've said the budget isn't just for the 469 members. Yes, they are right with that. The budget includes monies that will be spent on aids, maintenance, and other departments and units that make up the National Assembly. So the National Assembly is right that the monies don't just go on those members that are sitting, but the noise will reduce if they do provide information into letting Nigerians know which other units and what are the budgets that go into those other units. So they will do themselves a whole lot of service by providing that information. By the way, Nigerians aren't saying the National Assembly's 115 billion naira budget is too much or too low. What Nigerians are saying is that let's know what you spend the money for. We want to know what other things, apart from salaries and allowances and constituency and projects, what else do you use the money for? And once that information is made public, we then will be able to look at the future prognosis of what to expect for Nigeria in the years ahead.
As the day goes by, the ordinary Nigerian continues to groan under the harsh economic woes of the country, hoping that someday the true meaning of democracy will be truly reflected.